How are you?
I'm doing well, Evangelist Baird. How are you?
Awesome. I am doing awesome, Dr. Audrey Day. I am so excited to be talking to you today, my friend. I was just telling another sister girl of mine that I'm super excited that you are a part of my tribe. Dr. Audrey Day in the house.
Okay.
So awesome, 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 awesome. And today we're going to be talking about building resilience. And so that's a topic I know that you and I have talked about quite a bit and that you share with many people around your community, on the job, in your church, all of your respective ministries and collaborations that you have. And so we're excited you're going to talk a little bit about it with us on today, on this evening, I should say, here at ImPowered Global. And I did want to just, I know everybody sees it on the screen right now. You see Dr. Audrey Day and our topic that we're going to talk about tonight real quickly, heart-wise, building resilience, which is something that we all need some support strategies with. So I know you can see that on the screen. I want to do a quick, very important thing, and that's give our bio right now. I want to give a bio about Dr. Audrey Day. I mean, it's so important to know who we're talking to and who we're talking to, what we're talking about, right? So that's super, super, super critical. And so I'm going to give a really quick bio of Dr. Day. Dr. Day, can you hear me really well? I want to make sure you can. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I'm gonna say Audrey. Hey, I know my sister is Audrey.
Okay.
So let me give you all a quick bio for Audrey, Dr. Day. She is a licensed clinical psychologist with 30 years plus of experience working with adults, children, adolescents, and navigating emotional and psychological challenges, y'all, which many of us, if we have not had them ourselves at one point in our life, we know somebody who has. She's worked in inpatient and outpatient psychiatric settings, as well as educational settings, and worked as an adjunct professor teaching on the undergraduate level, formerly in private practice and community mental health settings. So again, without further ado, I'm super, super excited to be talking with Audrey on today, Dr. Day on today, about this really important topic. I mean, heart-wise, she's coming at us from a really cool level here, cool path. Heart-wise, building resistance. And this is so important during this pandemic. Not just the pandemic, right, Dr. Day, but beyond.
Right, right.
Beyond.
I am super excited as well to have an opportunity. I really thank you for the opportunity to really just do something that is really my life's work. This has been my life's work for a while, just sharing with people the things that I know, the training that I've had, just really trying to make available some of the tools that I've sort of studied for a while and make them available to other people. So I'm really happy to have the opportunity to try to do that today. Again, and resilience is important, not only in the world that we live in today and all the things that are happening, but just in general. People that are resilient or able to sort of bounce back. So I'm sort of jumping the gun a little bit just because we're throwing the word around resilience. So I'll just kind of go ahead and talk about what that is.
Great.
So resilience really, as I mentioned before, is the ability to bounce back. The ability, we kind of understand what that means emotionally or psychologically. It sort of means the ability to withstand stressors, to weather them well, to be able to adjust and be flexible and be able to sort of navigate and not get totally overwhelmed and thrown by challenges. Now, being resilient doesn't mean that you won't have challenges, but it just means that you'll be able to sort of take it in stride. And we kind of know people like that. And I think all of us actually have that trait within us. We have that sort of ability within us. It's just about being able to develop it more and being able to call upon it when we need it.
Right. Right. And that right there, family, is the definition of resilience. Okay. Because many times we hear that word and it's kind of thrown around a lot too, right, Dr. Day? And I know that's why you wanted to make sure that everyone kind of knew what's the definition of resilient. Because we hear people say that all the time, just be resilient, get over it, get through it, and why is it so important now? Why is building resilience so important in this day and time with everything that's going on?
It's always important actually, but because people are going to face challenges, and we really, when we talk about resilience psychologically, a lot of times we're talking in the context of either trauma or something, sort of life altering. And right
Right.
now, globally, the world, all the inhabitants on this planet that we call our home, Earth, are in some
Right.
way impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. So
Yep.
whether we've had it, we probably know someone who's had it. We're trying not to have it. We're trying, if we
Mhm.
have it, to not give it to others. So I think we're all connected by this virus, this pandemic, in
Mhm.
ways that are that can be stressful because it's deadly. Here alone in the United
Wow.
States, there have been over 100,000. I think it's like 108 now, thousand
Yeah.
people who've been actually who have succumbed to it. And and if that in itself weren't enough, we're now in the throes of, you know, the George Floyd murder and the sort of
Yeah.
aftermath of his murder and the things that are sort of coming out in our communities, the whole issue of racial injustice. It's always been here. It's been here since we've been here, 1619. I'm speaking now for
Right.
African Americans. It was here before we got here with the Native people and other people. So this whole idea of racial justice, equality is now just even more precipitous since Mr. Floyd's death. And with this
Yeah.
going on, we're seeing all the protests and people are having emotional reactions. People are dealing with this. People are being touched by this, not only in the United States, but globally as
Yeah.
well. So all of this is stirring up a lot for us. Um, I think as a nation and maybe even in other places too, people are grieving the loss of not only their jobs, but their life. I mean, people, and you can hear the expression, I want my life back because we
Right.
went to quarantine. And so, there are a lot of stressors that we're under globally. And it's, I think, very important that we be able to marshal inner strength
Wow.
and to recognize it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to have feelings about all of this,
Right.
to be, to feel things, and to just try to work our way through it. It's a process.
It's a process. It's a process. And and Dr. Day, maybe I'm not paying attention a lot. I don't know, but have you seen a great deal of communication from the government or from other institutions about how to deal with these things? I mean, I've heard a lot about, wear your mask, wash your hands, all that, but I'm not so sure I've heard a lot about how to really deal with this. This is a huge change for us, not just COVID, but like you said, on top of all the other things that's going on with the riots and the feelings of injustice, not feelings, but the injustice. I mean, have you seen any other institutions that are doing a really good job of saying, like what you're talking to us about tonight, how to be resilient, how to handle these stressors, what to do next?
Well, resilience really is a process. So I think that, as we're uncomfortable, as our comfort level is being tested and challenged on many fronts, not
Mhm.
only the quarantine and isolation and opening back up front, but dealing with now this whole systemic racism and racial injustice.
Right.
Um, there are not going to be easy answers. And as people are finding out with COVID and reopening, there are no easy answers. I don't think that
Okay.
there's any one right way. And I think
Mhm.
that what we're going to need is all of our professionals and experts really coming together, the government calling together people that are experts in various fields. So, your epidemiologist, your social psychologist, your clinical psychologist, your, just host of people coming together,
Wow.
bring sociologists, bringing their expertise to bear on the problems. So these problems, the problems of sort of racial injustice and all of
Mhm.
that, these are centuries in the making, and
Right.
possibly centuries before even we got here. So the
Right.
thing is that there's not, I don't expect that this is going to be an easy fix, because
Mhm.
it is systemic, it's deep.
Wow.
So helping
Wow.
people understand that it's a process, helping people understand that what we're feeling, the anger, the disbelief, the shock,
Mhm.
the depression, all of these things are sort of, not sort of, they are a natural process of grieving. And people are grieving a lot of things. A lot of different people are grieving different things.
Right.
So we're grieving some of the same things, but there are people who are not happy that this discussion about racial injustice and systemic racism is coming up. There's some people
Right.
for whom this is not, they're grieving the fact that things are going to change. So our ability to just be um, not mindful, and our ability to just be understand that it's a process, and that
Right.
to be in it for, to understand it is a process, and to be ready for the process. And processes tend to be, they can be smooth, they can be rough. This one, I think, is going to be not a smooth
Wow.
process. It's going to be ongoing. So having the ability to just withstand, to weather well, to know that it's going to get tense. It is going to get tense. It's been tense. And to be
Right.
able to anticipate what that may mean for us, sort of individually, collectively. And what I'm speaking on tonight is more sort of individually. It affects the collective,
Okay.
but I'm really sort of trying to give sort of tips and things, speaking to us as individuals. What can we do to help ourselves be okay, so that we can be of service to whatever cause or whatever ministry or whatever,
Mm.
wherever we want to be of
Yeah.
service.
Right. And and that's a good segue. So what are some specific, things that, or steps, I shouldn't say things, but steps we can take individually, like you said, to build that resilience, or to attempt to build that resilience.
Well, again, keep in mind that resilience is not a destination, it's a process. So,
Right.
one of the things, you know, two things, and I'll break these down. I'll try to break them down in the sort of the time we have left. One is really awareness, self-awareness. So
Okay.
if you're going to be resilient, one of the things is you have to know sort of where you are emotionally, psychologically, how are you feeling right now? And sometimes people say, well, I know what I'm feeling right now. And you ask them, and sometimes they may know, and sometimes they may be hard pressed. Sometimes people's feelings change, they vacillate. Right now, I'm feeling okay, and then in 5 minutes, I'm feeling angry. So being in touch with where you are, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you have to be one way or the other, but being aware of where you are, being in touch with where you are, so that you can know what you may need to do if you're in a place that you don't want to be. Or if you're in a place, say, if you're angry and you want to try to work through it, you have to first recognize that you're angry. Sometimes people don't even know they're angry. Unless
Mm.
sometimes people sort of equate anger with, grimacing and being, mad, but sometimes there's an underlying seething that's going on with people, and it comes out as irritability or some other thing. So just sort of
Right.
asking yourself, being present, where am I? What am I feeling? What's going on with me? And is it where I want to be? So that's sort of one thing in terms
So
of
awareness
building.
is number one.
Hmm? I'm
So
sorry.
awareness would be number one.
Yes, being
Just know
self-aware.
where you are.
Uh, I'm
Just
sorry.
knowing where we are and really embracing that, right?
Yes, yes. So, and another thing is sort of taking action, and I'll sort of kind of go through that whole process. So being aware, let's go back to being aware though. Being
Okay.
aware. So sometimes people will say things like, I'm tired. Well, let's break down what tired means, or how are you tired? Are you physically tired? Are you emotionally tired? Are you sort of psychologically tired? Are you spiritually tired? Because all of those things, while they're related, are slightly different. And how you
Mm,
may address them may be slightly different. So if you
right.
say physically tired, but you feel physically tired, you might go and lay down, or you might try to go to bed 15 minutes earlier until you feel
Right.
rested 15 minutes earlier each night. So if you're spiritually tired, you may go to your spiritual practice and sort of, get more engaged with your spiritual practice, whatever that is.
Right. Yeah.
So, kind of like really honing in to how you're feeling and what it means. Taking action. So you say something like, I'm tired. So I just gave an example. I'm physically tired. So
Yeah.
maybe you rest. Maybe you don't push yourself the extra mile today because you actually need to rest so you don't wear your body down. You don't wear your immune system down so that you're going to be fresh. But being able
Wow.
to stop, reflect, and do that. The thing is, sometimes with resilience as a process, people think that it means like big things. You have a big stressor and you got
Yeah.
big things. Well, sometimes
Yeah.
actually it's little things. So sometimes you can do little things, but you do those little things consistently. You do them,
Wow. And
you're
intentional.
intentional. That's a great
Love it.
word. You're
Love it.
intentional.
Yeah. That is, what I hear you saying, this is like super cool for me too. I tell you, because like you said, we think of it sometimes as being such a big mountain to move, but it's little things. And like you said, consistently, and we said intentionally, and it's okay to feel that way is what I hear you saying. It's okay to stop a minute, because then when these big problems happen, issues happen, pandemics happen, when we do those things consistently for the small stuff, it seems like I hear you saying we're better equipped to handle these bigger changes. Even though it's a process, we're a little bit closer to it because we've been in the practice, if you will.
Yes. Resilience is it's
Oh,
I like to say building
wow.
resilience because it's not something that you're necessarily born with. Some people are
Mm,
more hardy than others, but resilience is a skill that can be taught and can be learned, can be practiced. And like any skill that's practiced with commitment, time, and intention, you get better at it. So
yeah.
taking the time
Wow.
to reflect and to know where you are, and then try to figure out what can you do, what small thing can you do. So being really in tune to self-care, we hear that word a lot, but sometimes, and it gets thrown around and bandied about a lot, but
Wow.
it's really important to be able to rest and to be able to attend to your nutritional needs, eating
Mm.
good quality food. I mean, sometimes we say, yeah, okay, yeah, but this is what I had in the refrigerator. So it maybe maybe going and
Not very intentional.
being intentional, right? Going and shopping and buying something that's maybe a little higher grade, doing all these little things, getting out, moving your body, getting out in the sunlight. We kind of say these things and they sound so very pedestrian and elementary, but when you
Mm.
put them together, just like working out, if you're doing crunches every day or every other day, if you keep doing those crunches and doing other things like watching what you're eating and stuff, you're going to see something happen. Something is
That's
probably going to
right. Hello.
happen.
Said that's right.
Yeah, but you have to be intentional and you have to be committed and you have to keep doing it. So the thing is, I think, to do small things repeatedly. So rather than
Small.
doing saying, I'm going to change my life and I'm going to change my diet, and well, maybe just cut out one thing that you know it's not good for you and just keep building on that. That's how resilience, that's how bounce back is really built.
Love it. See that, this is very good information because you're right. Society has us believing that when we say we're going to lose weight, we got to go in really, really hard. We got to do an hour a day for 5 days a week, and we're going to get results next week. And what I hear you saying, it's be easy on yourself
Yes,
and be easy on yourself. Give
yes,
yourself a break,
yes,
okay? So you can better meet those goals. And so that when you have the bigger goals, you've been consistent, intentionally aware. Like for me, I probably should take away no offense, Entenmann's, but take away the Entenmann's chocolate donuts first, and maybe walk up and down the steps more than once or twice and yell at my daughter to go get something for me first before I try to tackle, a salad every day, 2 times a day, or tackle 30 minutes 3 times a day, walking 3 miles. So I hear you clearly, and that will get me better to feeling better about, the little things that I've done. Those are little goals and they're just bigger. You feel so much better. Love it. That's how you build the process of resilience. I love it. Wow.
absolutely. Like you said, acknowledging your successes, do little things and acknowledge them. Try to plan these things, try to plan the little things. And one last thing I'd like to leave with people is connect with others, 2 things.
Wow.
Well, there's
Okay.
more than 2 things, but anyway, connect with others, shared, share with other people because people can be of support. Share with supportive others. So sometimes we can be around others that are not supportive. So that sort
Right.
of sharing is not going to be helpful, but share with
Right.
people that are supporting you and moving in the same direction as you, or are going to be supportive, even if they're not moving in the same direction. They're going to be supportive of you. Acknowledge your
Wow.
successes. Follow your joy. Joy,
Mm.
follow your joy. Try to schedule some joy in your life as much as you can. Now, that's going to mean different things to different people. Even during
Gotta
the
love it.
pandemic, even during, thinking about racial injustice, schedule in something that's going to bring you joy. Small thing. It doesn't have to be this huge, long, protracted thing. Something that'll just give
Right.
you something, a little bit of uplift, and keep doing it. Try to
And
do
keep
it every day, every
doing it.
hour if you can, as much as you can.
Wow. I'm getting it even more. Listen, I'm ready to get my calendar out and start scheduling me some joy because think about it. Just the thought of that is like, it's got to be, like you said, it's got to be intentional. It's going to be little things. And every hour, that's that whole mindful thing. And that's why I love that you're in my tribe. Y'all, we're sharing Dr. Audrey Day with everybody because listen, those little things make a world of difference when these big catastrophic issues come into our life, from an emotional perspective, from a spiritual perspective, from a mental perspective, all of that, right?
Yes,
Schedule some joy.
yes. Every day,
Schedule.
as much as you can. And if you don't know what makes you joyful, keep thinking about it until you do. I know that sounds weird. Some people don't know what brings them joy.
That's right.
So if you don't know, just keep asking that question. You're going to come up on it. It's going to
That's
happen. And when
another
you,
assessment, right? Love it. We got just like 1 or 2 more minutes, but I wanted to ask you this. Are there any other things that we need to keep in mind when building resilience? Anything else you want to share with us that we want to keep in mind?
we've just kind of talked about it, being
Okay.
consistent. So you can, and being able to be flexible to change your perspective. So
Yeah.
we know that COVID-19 is massive, it looms large. We know that racial injustice is global. People of color
Mhm.
have been feeling this in different ways and different, at different times. Um, and the manifestation may look different in different places. But the thing is, we continue to fight and strive for change, but we can hold more than one thing at once. So that doesn't negate looking for joy. It doesn't negate,
Right.
because it doesn't mean that you always just have to have your fist raised and have,
Mhm.
you can do both. You can have your fist raised and have your joy. In fact, there was
Right.
a protest on TV not long ago where people were dancing. This was like a couple of days ago during this whole protest. People were dancing and getting others to getting police officers and National Guardsmen to dance as well. So there's, you know, we can hold more than one thing at once.
Wow.
We can work towards our liberation and work on the problem in ourselves. We can do all of these things. Be
Wow.
flexible, be willing to change.
And be willing to change, be flexible and be willing to change. And you know, we're out of time. And oh my gosh, this really always gets under my skin when we're out of time, but that's okay because, you know, we've got some really cool tools and resources that you provided from the American Psychological Association. There's 3 links that I'm going to put up on the website, courtesy of Dr. Day. She's already done her research, obviously. And definitely reliable source. She is, and reliable sources that she's providing. So we're going to put those up on the website. And like I said, we're out of time, y'all, but there's some homework for you to do. I mean, she's given us a great foundation to go with, and there's so many branches to this tree, I believe, that of what she's talked about today. And these resources, I checked them out myself, Dr. Day. And so I saw one was talking about resilience and different things that happen that cause us not to be so resilient. And it's really a cool map, if you will, to get to that, like you said, that destination. Okay. And so we thank you, Dr. Day, again, Heartwise, building resilience. We needed this discussion, and I almost wish we had more time to talk about it. But like I said, like you always say, we got our homework to do. So guys, gals, friends, family, do your research, do your homework. And we are so excited that Dr. Day was here with us this evening. And remember, it is a process. Be aware. Schedule some joy, she said, you know, not just every day, but every hour. If you can find out what gives you joy, you do it all, you know, be consistent and intentional about it. I love y'all. We're super excited that you joined in, and we'll see you next Monday at 8 p.m. Again, we're going to put some information up on the site, the resources that Dr. Day provided, and we'll also put the full video and presentation there as well with those resources on YouTube. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Dr. Day.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.